Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most contentious topics in modern geopolitics, the claim that China's technological advancement is primarily due to stealing Western technology. This narrative has become so pervasive that it's often accepted without question. But what does the actual data tell us? Let's examine this through patents, innovation metrics, educational trends, and concrete technological achievements to see if this narrative holds up to scrutiny. First, let's talk about patents, one of the most concrete measures of innovation. By the end of 2024, China had approximately 4.76 million valid domestic invention patents, representing a 16.3% increase compared to 2023. Making it the first country to surpass 4 million patents. But this isn't just about domestic patents. According to data from the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, China's applications accounted for more than half of the global total in 2021. And China-based inventors are filing the highest number of generative artificial intelligence (GenAI) patents, far outpacing inventors in the US, Republic of Korea, Japan, and India. Here's where the tech theft narrative becomes particularly problematic. China is graduating significantly more STEM science, technology, engineering, and mathematics PhDs than the United States. This trend has been ongoing for several years, with China's STEM PhD production more than doubling since 2007, driven by increased public investment in Chinese universities and research. Meanwhile, as noted in the source material, Americans in general are lagging behind their Asian counterparts in educational accomplishments in STEM subjects. Dr. Michio Kaku, American theoretical physicist, science communicator, and author, once said,
"Without the H-1B, the scientific establishment of this country would collapse. Forget about Google. Forget about Silicon Valley. There would be no Silicon Valley without the H-1B. And you know what the H-1B is? It's the genius visa, okay? You realize that in the United States, 50% of all PhD candidates are foreign-born. At my system, one of the biggest in the United States, 100% of the PhD candidates are foreign-born. The United States is a magnet sucking up all the brains of the world, but now the brains are going back. They're going back to China. They're going back to India. And people are saying, oh my God, there's a Silicon Valley in India now. Oh my God, there's a Silicon Valley in China. Duh. Where did it come from?
This reveals a crucial irony. Much of America's technological success has depended on foreign talent, particularly from Asia. According to various reports, Silicon Valley relies on more foreign-born workers than domestic ones, with H-1B visa holders make up the majority of workers in Silicon Valley. If China were simply copying American technology, how do we explain their leadership in 5G deployment? Writing in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, Eric Schmidt and Graham Allison, a professor of government at Harvard, acknowledged that America is far behind in almost every dimension of 5G, while other nations, including China, race ahead. This isn't about copying existing technology. This is about developing and deploying next-generation infrastructure at scale. China's space program presents another challenge to the tech theft narrative. Recent achievements include successfully landing a rover on the moon, sending a rover to the far side of the moon, successfully collecting samples from the moon and returning them to Earth, planning Phase 4 of their space program, involving the construction of a moon base near the Moon's South Pole, called the International Lunar Research Station, ILS. These achievements represent sustained, systematic technological development that goes far beyond copying existing technology. Perhaps most tellingly, innovations like DeepSeek and AI represent genuine breakthrough technology that doesn't have a clear Western predecessor to copy from. These are examples of indigenous innovation that challenge the fundamental premise of the tech theft narrative. If China is just copying, why the concern? This brings us to a fundamental logical contradiction. If China is merely copying American technology, why has the United States felt compelled to take such dramatic actions to slow China's technological rise? The arrest of Huawei's Meng Wanzhou in 2018, the expansion of the entity list to include Huawei and Beijing Academy of AI, restricting their access to U.S. technology and components, and the implementation of chip controls and manufacturing restrictions, all cite national security as reasons, but often without providing ironclad evidence to support these claims. These actions suggest that the real concern isn't copying, but legitimate technological competition. If Chinese companies were simply producing inferior copies, it wouldn't pose a competitive threat requiring such extensive countermeasures. Industry leaders acknowledge China's position, even Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, hardly someone with incentives to overstate China's capabilities, acknowledges China's strong position in the AI race, stating they are not behind the US and are very, very close. He emphasizes the intense competition, highlighting China's significant AI talent pool and the emergence of strong, homegrown AI models. Notably, Huang also believes that US chip export controls aimed at slowing China's progress have been counterproductive, potentially accelerating their development. Throughout history, technological development has always involved knowledge, transfer, adaptation, and improvement. The United States itself built much of its early industrial capacity by learning from and adapting European technologies. This is how technological progress works. It's cumulative and collaborative. The real sources of American technological strength, as Dr. Kaku points out. Much of America's technological leadership has come from its ability to attract global talent. The H-1B visa program has been described as the genius visa, precisely because it allows the U.S. to benefit from the best minds globally. But this same dynamic means that when those minds return to their home countries, or when those countries develop their own strong educational and research, INSTITUTION's technological leadership naturally becomes more distributed. When we look at the actual data, patent filings, educational trends, concrete technological achievements, and industry assessments, the narrative of simple tech theft doesn't hold up. Instead, we see evidence of substantial, sustained technological development driven by massive investments in education, research, and development. What do you think? Does the data change your perspective on this narrative? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more data-driven analysis of global and geopolitical trends.